Right, everyone, before we get in today's show, here's a quick message from our sponsor. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, not another one of these sponsors, but you're really going to want to listen to this. You really do. Oxford Natural, they really get you primed to your optimum level. We've all been there, haven't we? Long nights on the road, whether you're at football, whether you're at work, fast food, takeaways, a beer, another beer, and you're always like, let's kick the can down the road. Our health can come later, but you all have the best intentions, but you're all saying, oh, it can come a bit later. I'm not telling you this is a magic pill or anything like that, but it does get you primed to your optimum level.
That's why we have teamed up with Oxford Natural, who have designed these supplements to help you along your fitness journey. Optimum Day, which is a combination of green tea extract, berberine and guarana, which is designed to help you with your energy, cravings, and keeping you on track with your wellness journey. And Optimum Night, which is also a combination of berberine, magnesium and ashwagandha, which helps you with your sleep, recovery, and helping you properly switch off.
And like I said before, this isn't a magic pill. It does get you primed to the optimum level. And we are just at the beginning of our journey. And already we are seeing the effects. We are sleeping better. We are waking up better. You know, if you know anything about me and Sim, we are not morning people. And we are very groggy in the morning, find it hard to wake up. And this, straight away, we were able to get up a lot easier. Like I said, the sleep has been a lot better. And we also, both of us, drink a lot of coffee. Not one coffee have we drunk since taking these supplements.
I haven't woken up fresher since I've been taking the Oxford Natural supplements a few days ago. And it's been a real life changer, if I'm being honest. And it's been absolutely brilliant. And you're going to be tracking us on our wellness journey over the next few months. But we're only promoting this because it works. And here's some real life proof on screen right now. Both Robbie and Michael Owen teamed up with Oxford Natural for their wellness journey, and you can see the results for yourself.
Get your supplements and start your fitness journey in the comments section below. You can see on screen, use the code WATTV to get 70% off your first order, guys. And I'm telling you guys, this is no magic pill like I keep mentioning. It really works. So get yours, link in description below. But enough of that, let's get into some Spurs talk. We are Tottenham TV, back here for another Tottenham update and more updates on Sandro Tonali, more updates on Lucas Bergvall, and let's start on Lucas Bergvall, as there's been an update surrounding Bergvall saying that Chelsea are not interested in Lucas Bergvall anymore, which is, I mean,
that's good.
I think we heard something yesterday or 2 days ago saying that Chelsea were not that interested in Bergvall, so that just confirms it.
Yeah, which is obviously will make an easy pill to swallow if we are to sell Bergvall to someone else, because I think part of the worry was you sell him to Chelsea, and Chelsea becomes a great player there and comes back to bite you. But obviously it's going to be hard either way. But at least he's not going to Chelsea, which is a good thing.
Yeah, it's fantastic news. It really is fantastic news. Let's hope. I prefer him just to go Germany or something. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Get out of Dodge.
Just leave the country, man. Leave the country. But on Sandro Tonali, there's been an update from Simon Jones of the Mail, of the Daily Mail, saying that Tonali is open to joining up with Roberto De Zerbi at Tottenham, but Arsenal are understood to be his preference should they firm up their interest. Man City are also watching developments. Alfredo Padula says it's understood that Tottenham next imminent offer for Newcastle midfielder Sandro Tonali will touch and potentially exceed 100 million euros.
We're doing this again.
We are doing this again.
We're doing this again.
The thing is, when we were first linked with him, and you know, David Ornstein said Arsenal and Man City, I said to you, this is a big possibility. Let's just hope Arsenal don't come in with an offer.
Yeah, the report says that they're only going to firm up their interest once Tottenham agree a fee, which massively worries. Like, we're doing all the legwork again. It's basically the same as Eze. We're doing all the legwork to get the fee agreed, and then Arsenal are going to swoop in at the 11th hour to agree personal terms. I really hope this isn't the case. Now, there have been other reports early in the window that Arsenal aren't too sure about him. They're not too sure whether they're actually going to pay the money or their interest. But yeah, Ornstein says Arsenal are there. They have been linked with him previously. Obviously, last January they were heavily linked with him, and nothing ever happened. And they could, I mean, I could see him fitting in Arsenal. Why not? Zubimendi's, Partey's gone. Zubimendi, they're not so sure about. Obviously, they've been playing Lewis Skelly there. Obviously, they got Rice, but I think Tonali would probably start for them, to be honest. So, if they are to swoop in, I mean, it's tough to say they're the champions, Champions League football, probably could offer similar money. I don't know what else, and they're in London. If London is a sort of deal breaker, Arsenal are as well in London.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know what we could offer over them apart from our name and just, pride of Tottenham, the glory of Tottenham. The way of the Zerbi pool, come on. They're both from Brescia. Surely that counts for something, doesn't it, Sandro? Counts for something. Let's just hope Arsenal aren't that interested.
Look, I feel the same as I do about Arsenal, as I do about Man City in this deal. If either of them two were to put in a serious offer, I think it'd be very hard for Tonali to accept us over those two. And that has always been the case and will be the case probably for the foreseeable future for any player. We know these two have been battling out for the league for the last however long. Spurs have finished 2 17th places, not even in Europe this season. So this is just the reality we have to live with. If we're going to go for these kind of players, there's a big reality that those kind of clubs are going to be interested in.
And I'm okay with it, to be honest. I know look, I'm not exactly okay with Arsenal coming in and swooping in Tonali under our noses if that was to happen. I'm not going to sit here and say I'll just be fine with it. But I'm okay with the fact, would I rather go for Tonali and get swooped in on or not even go for him? And not go for those caliber of players. That led us down the pathway of where we were before. It's like, we can't go for these top players, so we're going to find these cheap young players and try and build them up. And where did that lead us? So, look, I'd rather go for 10 Tonalis and get one. You know what I mean? Rather than not even going at all.
Who is another Tonali though?
Scott, Wharton, I don't know, these kind of midfielders.
Yeah, I mean, I think Tonali's ahead of those guys. Particularly Scott. So
I'm just saying highly rated midfielders who are Premier League proven. I'd rather go in on them, go in for a number of them, and hope we can get one. Obviously, I'm hoping they fit in our plans and they're the right profile and all that kind of stuff, and they're well scouted. But I'd rather, as I say, keep going for Tonalis, even if we get gazumped, rather than aiming low.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's just reality. And it was a mistake to go for Eze last year. We just got gazumped. That's what happened, and it hurt. Don't get me wrong. I wouldn't want to go through that again. I'm not sitting here saying that was a
mistake to go for Eze.
Huh?
You should never have trusted him.
It was a mistake to go for him. We just got gazumped. It wasn't.
It was a big mistake to go for Eze last season. That Gooner, he's a proper Gooner at heart, mate. It was the worst mistake to go for him.
From that perspective, it was a mistake. But I'm saying for that kind of player, and the fact that forget that he's an Arsenal fan.
It wasn't a mistake to go for Gibbs White. It was a mistake to go for Eze. I'll tell you that.
Look, it was a mistake. It wasn't a mistake to go for that kind of caliber player. That's what I'm saying.
Specific player.
Yeah. So Tonali's not an Arsenal fan, but yeah, of course, most players right now would prefer Arsenal. That's just reality. So maybe Eze was a bit different because he was a boyhood Arsenal fan and his heart was always set on Arsenal if they were to come in. But the reality is,
he accepted a deal for Spurs and then called up Arteta straight away. You're telling me that's not a mistake? Of course, it's a mistake.
But you know what I'm trying to say.
I know, caliber of player. I'm just saying, you're using Eze example. I'm saying Eze for sure was a mistake. But look, the thing is with Tonali, I cannot do this again. I cannot go through these weeks of excitement, agreeing a fee, agreeing personal terms and all this just for him to go to Arsenal again. I just can't do it.
It won't happen.
Kill me, man. Kill me again. All over again.
They don't want him anyway.
They better not. They didn't want Eze when we were in talks with him.
It's true. It's very true. They got him just to spite us.
They got him because they got a big injury to Havertz, didn't they? As we were negotiating with him. So the whole thing.
A lot of these things are very subject to change, but let's just hope we.
And I'll tell you what, there's been a report saying that Declan Rice has been nursing a hamstring injury for 6 months secretly. What if he breaks down? In the England game, he gets a massive hamstring injury.
Yeah, look, they might want him. Who knows? The most reports I've read are in January he was offered to Arsenal rather than Arsenal went in for him, and right now they are monitoring him, but there are doubts whether they actually want to pay the big fee that Newcastle are asking. So that's the latest reports, but doesn't mean that can't change. And that can, in football, having followed this sport now for many, many years, one thing you take away is things change extremely quickly in this sport. One day, a team doesn't want someone, the next day they do. One day a player doesn't want to go somewhere, the next day he does. It changes very, very quickly. So 100% it's possible they could gazump us and it'll be embarrassing. It is what it is.
Get this bid in, get this deal over the line, so we don't have to worry about this anymore. Like, seriously, I can't. The anxiety's starting to kick in a little bit with this one, and I just can't do it. I can't do it all over again.
It was always too good to be true. Let's just hope it doesn't end that way.
And let's move on. There's been talk about who Spurs can bring in as goalkeeper at next, and Paul O'Keefe says that Martin Dubravka is the leading contender for Tottenham as a backup goalkeeper. He's also said Jason Steele and Carl Darlow are amongst the players on the list as well. We brought you the news yesterday about Jason Steele, 35 years of age. I mean, all these keepers obviously suggest massively that Kinski's going to be our number one this season. We've heard the reports that Kinski's going to be our number one, and this just backs it up. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be mad at Dubravka. I think he's a very good keeper to have as your backup. 37 years of age. I mean, would you prefer him or Steele or Carl Darlow? I mean, I'll take any of them, to be honest. I'm
trying to find these quotes. Zerbi has some really great quotes about Jason Steele, about when he was at Brighton. Said he said for him on the ball, he's one of the best keepers in Europe and stuff like that. So he clearly has history with him. He's homegrown as well, so add that to the pile of pluses. He's a couple of years younger. Dubravka's obviously. He's one of those keepers who have the odd worldie. Like for Burnley, he had the odd worldie. For Newcastle, he was okay.
Had a few good games for United as well.
For United, yeah, they didn't let him for a year and then sent him back, or 6 months. I think Dubravka's maybe the better shot stopper, but Jason Steele maybe more in line with De Zerbi in terms of if Kinski's got a 3-week injury. Who do I trust more, Dubravka or Steele? Probably Steele.
Yeah, it depends what Steele's shot stopping's like these days. Because if he's just going to let every goal in that goes past it that he faces, then I don't know.
But I think I would trust Steele a bit more because he's played under De Zerbi before, so he's not going to be, he's not going to be asked to do things he's uncomfortable with. Put it that way. Whereas Dubravka might be.
He's barely played any football for like 2 years. Like barely. But look, I don't really care. Like I'll bring any of these three.
Bring Forster back.
Yeah, I care if Forster comes back. At least, just as Daigle said yesterday, get someone that can at least dive or get down low.
True. And Forster really struggled with that. Look, Dubravka's okay. I don't think he's particularly great with his feet, to be honest, at all. So I would imagine De Zerbi would rather Jason Steele.
Probably. But Paul O'Keefe is saying Dubravka is the leading contender.
Yeah, I wonder why that is. He probably is a better keeper than Steele, to be honest.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, I don't know. I just haven't seen Steele play in like 2-3 years. So it's hard to make a real judgment on it of where he's at right now. I really thought Carl Darlow had a great season last year for Leeds. In terms of form, he's probably the most informed keeper out of the lot. So I'll be happy with any of these keepers. If De Zerbi thinks Jason Steele's up to it, then go get Jason Steele. If not, any of those two players, I think would be good backups.
You also got to look at it this way as well. De Zerbi ain't shy about changing the keeper if they're not having a good time of it. When he had Steele and he had who's the other keeper? Either was Verbruggen or someone else. He wasn't shy about rotating.
It was Roberto Sanchez.
Sanchez, that's it. He wasn't shy about changing it, like not even with an injury, just changing it because he felt like different keepers, whatever. So if Steele's there, that's someone who he's rotated with before, so he's maybe more comfortable with that. Whereas if you've got Dubravka, is he going to be more comfortable just putting Dubravka in if it's not working? Whereas maybe with Steele, he would be. Yeah,
but they need to come as a complete package. You can't just have someone that's good on the ball and crap at everything else.
Yeah, but he's worked with Steele before, so he knows.
It's been a long time though, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been a few years, but I'm sure it hasn't changed that much. Just like riding a bike, isn't it?
We'll see what happens. But the last report is on Cuti Romero. Everyone's braced for Cuti Romero to leave the club. I mean, this is probably one of the worst sources we've ever brought to you here on We Are Tottenham TV, called Sports Boom, saying Cristian Romero has reportedly had a change of heart and told the Tottenham hierarchy he wants to stay and help lead the club's rebuild despite last season turmoil. That report also said that I think Crystal Palace and some other team down there are monitoring the situation of Cristian Romero. So that tells you the kind of validity of the source. But if there's
Or
any,
it tells you the kind of teams they're in for Cristian.
well, yeah,
one or
you
the
could
other.
say that. But if there's any truth to this,
Yeah.
then I'm saying no thanks. Like, yeah, if you wanted to go, so go. Like, that's it.
Yeah, I can't
You've
see him.
missed your chance,
I
mate.
can't
You've
see
missed
him
your chance.
staying.
We've got Van Hecker in now.
Yeah, Van Hecker's signed. That's confirmed. There's no going back on that. So I can't really see where he fits in the squad unless he wants to take Danso's role and we sell Danso. Obviously, in another universe where things have turned out differently, I'd love Kuti to stay. And if circumstances were different, I really think he would get on so well with De Zerbi. Obviously, he only played, an hour under him, so we never really got to see what he would have been like under De Zerbi. Like we saw with Van der Ven, how we changed his mentality, and we got to see Van der Ven pretty much full confidence and full form under De Zerbi, and it made everyone think, okay, maybe we should keep Van der Ven. Maybe he does want to stay. That could that have been different with Kuti? Who knows? But it's a shame we never saw it. Obviously, I'd love him to stay. And under different circumstances, but I just don't see how we can. I think we're relying on that money at this point to fund other moves because we've got Van Hecker through the door. We can't have Romero, Van Hecker, Van der Ven, and Senesi all on the books. I just can't see that, and everyone's staying happy
With 1 game a week.
With 1 game a week, and everyone's keeping everyone happy. I can't see that. However, I would say again, I think Romero would love to play under De Zerbi. I think they would get on so well. I think De Zerbi could get the best out of him. I believe that, and I can't see it happening now. But I would love it. I would love to have seen it.
If you could turn back the hands of time 2 weeks, and this report would have come out then, would you have said no thanks to Van Hecker?
Not just off that reliable report.
No,
If I believed it,
yeah.
if it was true, if it was Ornstein coming out and saying Romero's prepared to stay, he's spoken with De Zerbi, and he wants to stay at Tottenham, fully committed. Yeah, 100%.
See, I wouldn't.
I would.
Too much has happened. He's too unreliable, not consistent enough. The injuries as well over the past 3 years. I just feel Van Hecker's just he might not be as good of a player. That might be true, but he's so much more reliable, which will make him a better player. So I'm choosing Van Hecker over Romero any day.
Any day.
Yeah, any day.
No, I'll choose Romero. I think if De Zerbi can get the best out of him.
Yeah, it's a bit if though, because no manager's able to get the best
Ange
out of
did.
Romero so far. Not really. He still had his inconsistencies under Ange.
Yeah, every defender does at times, but I think he was good. He was good under Ange mostly.
Defenders that we speak about Romero sometimes as like one of the best defenders in world football, and the best defenders in world football don't go through those kind of patches of form. They just don't.
The best defenders of world football aren't usually at clubs like us in the way we're playing. I think that needs a bigger element to it. I think when we're playing well, and when the team is in a good way, I think Romero's usually in a good way, and I think that's usually how it is. Obviously, I understand he hasn't covered himself in glory in a lot of aspects, and he has to do better in a lot of aspects. But I really appreciate what he offers, and I think he is a better player than Van Hecker. And I really think playing under De Zerbi, we could have seen the best of him. Look, it's not going to happen now. It is what it is.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. I think this report's complete bullshit anyway. Like, there's no chance he sees Van Hecker come through the door and be like, maybe he is, but I think...
Well, if Romero said, look, I'm prepared to play second fiddle to Van Heck and fight for my place, but I want to stay.
Yeah, I'll let him stay for that. Be our backup centre-back, yeah, sure. That's probably the best centre-back in the league. I'll definitely
And would you sell
that.
Danso and do that?
Yeah, for sure. I would definitely do that. But I think what it brings, he's obviously right now the captain of the football club.
Mm-hmm.
So if he was to say, he would probably expect to stay as captain of the football club. And,
Yeah, you'd think so.
And I just don't want that. I just don't think he's a good captain. And I think we should be giving the captaincy to a Van der Ven or a James Maddison. So there are so many aspects of why this ain't going to work.
I mean, it does become a story, doesn't it? If he stays and gets like stripped of the captaincy or something, or was on the bench, and just every week is a story, isn't it? So you obviously maybe you don't want that headache either.
Yeah. So anyway, those are your stories for today. Maybe, you never know, we might be back on a bit later on this evening as well. But thank you everyone for joining us today. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.